change in Washington, which they're always changing, yet staying the same.
Don't move a muscle. John LeBang Show. Right back.
With lots of fun and excitement. Yes!
Pane in the Glass, commercial and residential window cleaning for a beautiful sparkling shine that's crystal clear. Call Pane in the Glass Window Cleaning. You can find them on Facebook at Pane in the Glass.
Hey, man, it's at the bottom of the hour, man. Do you know where your kids are, man?
If you want to contact the John LeBang Show, feel free to send an email to jlebang@live.com. And if you're on Twitter, look him up at John LeBang. And don't forget to go to his Facebook page at The John LeBang Show. Banger. Now here's John.
So now this long-winded thing starts boiling down. And here comes the little bit of theory that I have. Because Donald Trump did say he's a little bit more like a Democrat than a Republican.
In many cases, I probably identify more as a Democrat.
One could say by his by his actions, he's a little bit of a socialist. If by just being a social media kind of guy. Because believe it or not, social media is part of socialism. Groupthink. But we can get past that. Because there are going to be people on the other side going, he's not a socialist, he's a capitalist. Well, as we've discussed before, you can't have socialism without some form of capitalism, because you've got to get the money for socialism from the people who generate income, the capitalist. The left can't work without the right. If there's no right, what is the left got to complain about? Have you ever thought of that? If there's no right, there's no wrong. And if you're on the right, you're wrong, according to the people on the left. I digress again. So we move past all this current history that is documented. We can look through it and we can see how it all works out. It's right there in the open. And during the administration of Donald Trump, the man who was elected by the alternative media, it was their first big win. Now we know, just by your voting records, but by all the people in the alternative media, by the videos you've made, by the websites you've created. We know where you guys stand. They do. I do. Everybody knows that. The mainstream media, the swamp, all know now who their enemies are. And they're starting to take out some of their enemies. Alex Jones. He's one of the biggest figures that have faced the wrath of the big boys, of the elites in all forms of media, social media, mainstream manufactured news media, the mainstream political parties. He's gone. Taken out. Attacked. Not by killing him, but by blocking him on all of his social platforms. Go search the internet. When you would talk about unpopular issues, you would search them in Google, like Hillary's lost emails. AJ's information would be right there at the top of Google. Boom, 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 boom. Now, they're not there. You get a lot of Snopes there. Get a lot of ABC, NBC, CBS, MSNBC. You're lucky to even find a Fox News on the first page. But all the alternative forms of media, all the alternative websites that covered all this, they're not on the front pages anymore. Those Google searches, not there. During the Donald Trump's administration, the man who was elected by this media. Now, one would think, if you're part of the duality, that it's those lousy Democrats, left-wingers that have done this. And you'd be partially right. But since the Republicans hold everything in the government as of right now, this shouldn't be happening. Except it's happening through the social media giants. Because there's no government oversight there. And I don't think there should be. People should be free to use their ideas the way they want, believe in what they want, promote with what they want, and on their stuff, the stuff that they own, they can allow people to come in that they want and say, no, we don't want other people doing that. We don't want other people. We're not going to allow other people, because of their voice, to do that. It's well within their right. But we in the alternative media sucked up all this social media stuff because it gave us a platform for a little while, didn't it? It gave us a platform for a little while. I remember when I would get tens of thousands of viewers on YouTube. Those were the days, folks. Those were the days, man. Little by little, those views started dropping. After Donald Trump was elected, they virtually disappeared. So I've, for the most part, stopped doing them. It isn't worth it to put out a video that takes 4 or 5 hours to produce, edit, to upload, if you're being blocked on your views. And when you go from tens of thousands of views to 20 views, and it's not like you get the thumbs down. You don't get those thumbs down. See, if it was because you were giving an unpopular opinion, you'd get a lot of thumbs down. You'd have more thumbs downs than thumbs up, but some of us in this social media world, the alternative media, our views went away and we didn't get any thumbs down. There wasn't more thumbs down than thumbs up. And because some of us didn't have a voice the size of Alex Jones or Michael Savage or any of their brethren, there wasn't a whole lot we could do. We could complain, and they're just going to turn a blind eye because it's like, you're no big deal. You only had 20,000 views. You only had 30,000 views. And when you're talking on these social media platforms, especially things like YouTube, that's nothing. And you don't monetize your videos, and even if you could monetize your videos, we would take it away from you. They did that. They started with the little guys because they could do it. You guys weren't worth it. You guys aren't producing the views. So it's not worth it to have monetization. Somehow you click too much. Invalid clicking is a very generic term they used back in the day. They probably still do. Invalid clicking, that's a means of demonetizing you. Because back in the day when you would go to answer a comment, your damn video would play. And the advertisement would come up when you're watching your own video, which is totally stupid. But again, I digress. So during the age of Trump, his biggest supporters have been or are being silenced. The people that exposed so much truth during the election, so much truth after the election, are being silenced during the age of Trump. Hang with me, folks. We're almost there. Hang with me. And I'm not reading from some notes, ladies and gentlemen. I'm doing this off the top of my head because I know this information. I see what's going on. What if Donald Trump, ladies and gentlemen, what if Donald Trump's election, let's exclude that he's a puppet, just the election, the elites know Donald Trump has the alternative media behind them, the alternative world, the people that are their direct enemies. You allow Donald Trump to win one way or the other. You find a way to make it happen. You put up a candidate that couldn't win, wasn't worthy of the job, and should be in jail. That way she has a automatic opposition. You allow Trump to win so that you can expose everybody. Internally expose. In other words, get a picture on who your real enemies are. And then you just make sure Congress, the House and the Senate there, aren't very helpful at getting things done for the agenda. And at the least nefarious theory, in this least nefarious theory, best case scenario, all of us in the alternative media have been exposing ourselves. We've come out in the open and said, hey, we're for freedom. And then they pick out the 2 or 3 or 4 of the crazies and say that's all of us because they want to discredit us, the people who expose the truth and help get Donald elected. Now they know who we are. Now they're shutting us down, all in the age of Donald Trump. Now you tell me, ladies and gentlemen, doesn't that seem a little backwards? If it were the people who exposed the truth and helped get Trump elected were producing the truth, were showing evidence, they were the investigators, and now they're being targeted and eliminated. You've got to wonder, ladies and gentlemen, if it all was set up to get the opposition to the New World Order to expose themselves, to bring them out in the open so that they knew who to deal with. And now we're seeing the effects of it, and they're dealing with us. And there may never be another election in the history of this country, no matter how long it exists, that'll be affected by the alternative media, like the 2016 election. And with this Manafort and Cohen and Russian investigation that has produced no Russian collusion, it's produced a couple of tax cheats and a guy who pays off some whores because Donald Trump likes women. And if women are willing to sleep with him and his wife doesn't have a problem with it, why should you? Why should you? But Donald Trump is an actor, a TV guy. So there's a distinct possibility, because some of his comments in the past and the people who he's dealt with and the people who he's donated to in the past that he might have been a secret operative